Hello, my name's Galena. I'm the fiancé of Joshua Lee McCollister, who was murdered by Deunn Willis and robbed by Danielle Durand. I call the enabler for a reason. It's not just that she looked the other way when violence was happening to me. She actually enabled the situation. I think back to about 6 months before Josh moved to Fort Bragg. The Instigator said something to me during a particularly bad incident that I was trying to get away. I was trying so hard for years, trying to figure out how to get away, and every time I tried, he threatened to go public about my father. And not like public in a good way, like public to the crackheads, you know. He was trying to see what he could get out of this situation. During this particular incident, he said to me the words, basically, if I tried to get away, "I will hurt you, I will take revenge." I just took it for granted at that point. I had taken it for granted for well over a year that he was going to kill me. There were so many incidents that I thought, I probably have less than 5 minutes to live. He's going to murder me. Like, right now. Not next week, not tomorrow, right now. This particular incident, I went to the enabler's house right after it happened. She was the one person that I thought he might listen to. Like, if I begged her for help, he'd have to let me go. That was my hope. And I broke down, crying in her living room. I mean, I think I even came through the door sobbing. And I just, like, backed into a corner up against her bookcase, and I was sobbing. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I can't. I cried and cried and cried, and I begged her for help. See, she has so much power. She has money, she has influence, and if she had had a talk with the Instigator, he would have let me go. He wouldn't have gone up against her. And here I was, laying my cards out on the table, basically woman to woman, saying, I'm in a horrible situation, it's violent, he's threatening me, he's gonna hurt me, please help me. Her solution was to get both of us in the car and try and talk it out. He didn't deny that he'd said those words to me, I will hurt you, I will take revenge. He said I'd misinterpreted them, they weren't a physical threat. A different kind of threat, and he explained what that threat was. There's something she wanted out of me that I did not want to give. Something very, very precious. And he made it clear that the revenge he was going to seek is he was going to help her take this precious thing away from me. Like the most precious thing in the world. So after she heard that that was what he would do, she took on this attitude of, well, it takes two to tango, you're both at fault. She didn't help me. It's not just that she didn't help me. Later on, when I tried very hard to get away again, she denied that this ever happened, that he'd ever threatened me, that I ever told her he'd threatened me, that I ever told her he was hurting me. She backed him up completely. And she knew he was strung out. That was the thing about this that was just like, this is a woman who goes to church every Sunday. She knew he was completely strung out. You know, I'm not a drug savvy person. I didn't understand he was on drugs for a long time, but she knew. she knew. And instead of, like, helping me, she sent him to go bail his drug dealer out of jail. You know, this is a thing that's verifiable. And while his drug dealer was giving him drugs, she bought the dealer a car. See, she had that precious thing that she had her eyes on. She knew I wasn't going to give it to her. So she thought that she could get it out of him, essentially. I was undergoing so much constant fear. You know, constant fear. And it just makes me think about, you know, the Instigator was Josh's idol. Like, he loved this person so much. And even so, no matter how much he loved him, within 2 weeks of getting to Fort Bragg, he had that sit-down talk with him and said, you cannot be treating her like this. You can't treat anybody like this. You are strung out. You need to get off of the drugs. And he put it in the context of Colleen, how much he loved Colleen, and how now that she was dead, he was haunted by, you know, every wrong thing he'd ever said to her, every mistake he'd ever made. And he said to the Instigator, you will regret all these things that you're doing later on. When you're sober, you're going to look back at how you're treating people now, and you're going to be filled with so much regret. You do not want to be in the position that I am, having lost someone I love, thinking, I should have done better. You don't want to be in my position. Because I told Josh in front of the Instigator on that occasion, because I thought I was going to die. I didn't think I had long left. This violence was just it was going to kill me. So I just laid it out to Josh right there, you know, I think he's going to kill me. I think this is how he's going to kill me. This is how he's going to get away with killing me. And I'm not the only person who thinks it. I have multiple girlfriends who are just like waiting to find out that he's murdered me. I did not know that Josh was in love with me. Like, it's a very strange situation, because he loved his wife. He also loved me. I don't think he was doing this because he loved me, though. Not that he loved me since he was like 25 or something like that. I don't think that this had anything to do with that. I think that it was just, he saw the situation and he didn't like it. He didn't like seeing a woman treated like he saw me treated just for those like 2 weeks. He wasn't going to say, I'm your bodyguard, and then let somebody treat me like this, even if they were his idol. He wasn't going to do that. And so Instigator seemed to listen to him, because how was he going to treat me like that when there's this other guy around? And Josh was strong. Oh my goodness, that man was so strong. That man was the pound for pound strongest man I ever saw in my life. I mean, he was like the freaking Hulk. It's about, I think, 2 months after that, maybe, Josh asked me to go for a walk with him one night. He wanted a heart-to-heart, and he said to me during this, quote, he ever hit you? And he talked about how he could see that, like, if the Instigator would, like, put a hand on my shoulder or something like that, my whole body would flinch. You know, he was a brilliant man, but I don't think this situation was particularly cryptic. And I answered him. I think I answered, frankly, a lot more than he was prepared to hear. And one of the things I told him is, the level of kindness that you see him giving me, that's as much as he's capable of. And this was not an impressive level to Josh. And he's only being this kind because you're around. Because he's not going to do other things to me with another man. Keeping an eye on me. He's not going to hurt me in a lot of ways if there's another guy around. And if you leave, if you're gone, it's gonna get so bad. That same night, Josh also told the instigator that he was going to have heart to talk with him. I don't know what he said to him, but I do know that after Josh was done talking to the instigator got down on his knees in front of me and begged my forgiveness. He hit himself in the face. He called himself names. He promised XYZ was never going to happen again. He'd never do it again. He promised, give him another chance, like he said all the things you see in a Lifetime movie, essentially. He begged and begged and begged my forgiveness after Josh talked to him. And the next day, I think it was over breakfast, Josh nodded at me and he said, "You're welcome." And Instigator seemed to clean up his act for a while after that. He tried. He tried for it to never happen again. The fact of it is, the things he did, he liked them. He liked doing those things. And that's when I started to experience, I think, things that I just couldn't talk about them. They were so bad. I didn't tell Josh about them actually until we were in a relationship, and he was furious when he found out the loopholes, I guess you could say, that the instigator had found. Josh didn't have resources in Fort Bragg. He didn't have family. He came up here to a completely helpless situation. But he looked at a woman who was being abused in essentially every way, and he fell in love with my photograph 14 years ago. But that didn't have anything to do with why he helped me. This was a horrible situation. I was being coerced. I was being forced into a horrible situation because my father's a serial killer. I was trying to do the right thing. I was trying to make sure that the bodies were found, that the families were able to bury their daughters. That's what I'm still trying to do. And that's what Josh was also committed to. And he was so angry to find out that that was getting leveraged against me because some bad people decided they wanted to make money off of it. And the enabler, she loves money. Oh my God, she loves money. And she knew about the situation with my dad for a long time before it went viral. And I don't know to this day if she's planning on, at the end of all this, just getting that precious, precious thing that she wanted, or if she's also planning on getting a bunch of money. I don't know. But in case it's the latter, because, she offered me money a couple days after Josh died. What I would say to her is, the amount of money that I want from you is however much money it would take for Josh's mom to be able to hug him one last time. How much money do you think that would cost for Josh to give his parents one last hug? For him to be able to give me one last hug? You can't bring the dead back. There is no amount of money no bribe you can give for that. I may have failed in certain ways, but I had good intentions. Josh had very good intentions. He would never have overlooked long-term abuse. That's not who he was. And he would never have enabled it. This is something that I've talked about with his mom so many times, that how she raised him to protect little ones, how she raised him, that if you see a woman being abused like that, you don't just stand by. He didn't stand by. He tried to help me. He knew that his life was in danger if he helped me. He knew the instigator might kill him instead of killing me if he tried to get me out. And he still did it. And it's one of the reasons that I am so lost without him now. Because he is the only person in my life that ever stood up for me. He is the only person in my entire life that ever truly tried to keep me safe. And he died for it.